In today's lesson, we're going to be solving equations with variables on both sides of the equal sign. So when we look at our first example here, we see that we have an 8x plus 4 on the left side equal to 10 plus 2x on the right side. So we have variables on both sides of the equal sign. And so our first step in solving this is to move all of our variables to one side and all of our constants to the other side. So I'm going to take this positive 2x and I'm going to move it to the other side by using the inverse operation. I'm going to take and subtract 2x. And what will happen is over here the positive 2x and the negative 2x will cancel out. And that will leave me the constant of 10 on the right side. And then over here, the 8 minus 2x will leave me 6x. And then I'm going to drop down the plus 4. And so what I've done is I've taken those variables where we had some here with the 8x and some here with the 2x, and I've moved it all to one side of the equation. And what I have created now is a two-step equation. So I'm going to take and work on isolating the variable. I'm going to take this plus 4 and work with the inverse operation to subtract 4. Remember that what I do to one side of the equation, I must do the other side. I will drop down this 6x. The positive 4 and the negative 4 will cancel out. 10 minus 4 equals 6. And now I'm to the point where I have 6x equal to 6. The 6 here and the x are connected through multiplication. The inverse operation is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 6 to get x is equal to 1. Okay. Remember that we could always check our answers by going back to the original problem. And in place of the variable x, we would put in what we believe our solution to be, which is x equals 1. And then do the order of operations so that over here we would have 8 times 1 is 8 plus 4 is 12. And over here, multiplication first, 2 times 1 is 2 plus 10 is 12. And we can see that since the right side of the equation equals the left side of the equation, that x equals 1 is our solution. Now let's look at the next problem. Our next problem is 2x minus 5 equals 4x minus 1. Now, depending on how you were taught, I know some people were always taught you move the variable on the right and you move it to the left. And I'm going to take or you can move the smaller variable to the larger variable. It is totally your call. This is just a review of something you've already learned. So I'm going to take this 4x and I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. And that's going to leave me with a negative 2x minus 5 is equal to negative 1. So once again, I took those variables on both sides, had a 2x here and a 4x there, and I moved this 4x by using inverse operations. And why I do that is then I create that two-step equation. And now I'm just 2 operations away from getting my answer. So I see this minus 5. The inverse operation is to add 5. I'm going to have negative 2x. And then 1 minus 5 will give me, negative 1 plus 5 will give me a 4. And then I'm going to take and see that this negative 2 is connected to this x through multiplication. And therefore, I'm going to take and divide both sides by negative 2. And that'll give me that x is equal to negative 2. And once again, we can always check. I encourage you to always check. Even if you don't write it down, this is a very easy either mental math or calculator problem. You can type this into your calculator here. 2 times -2 minus 5, that would give you a -9. And then type the second part into your calculator. 4 times -2 minus 1, and see that that would give you -9 also. And when that right side equals the left side, we know that this is the correct solution. Let's go to our equation, which is x plus 3 is equal to -4 plus 2x. And let's say that you are someone that always moves the smaller variable to the larger variable. Let's try the problem this way. Once again, how you do this, how you move all the variable to one side and the constant to the other side, is your call based on what you've already known before this class. So if you were looking at this x, we could start this by subtracting x from both sides. That will cancel this out over here, leave me with a positive 3 equals -4, and then positive 2x minus 1x is going to give me a positive x. And then I'm going to take that -4, working with my inverse operations here, and that -4, the opposite, is going to be to add 4. I will have x left on the right side and a 7 here. And if I do a quick check, 7 plus 3 on the left side would be a 10. -4 plus 2 times 7, order of operations would be 14 plus a -10, that would give me a 10 also. Once again, you could write out the order of operations steps here for the check, or you could use your calculator or mental math, but you should be able to check each one of these equations before you submit your answer. So now we know x equals 7 is the correct answer. And I believe we have one last problem to do together, which is 5x plus 2 is equal to 3x. Now, I'm actually going to take and write this problem down twice because I want to show you two different ways that you could do it based on how you were originally taught this. For some people that were taught, you always take the variable on the right and move it to the left. Here's what that would look like. If we have that positive 3x, we would subtract 3x. Now what would happen over here on this side is there's going to be a 0 there. Sometimes when students get that 0 there, they think they've done something wrong, but if we keep working through the problem, we're going to see that it will work out. Over here on this side, we have 2x plus 2. So we've created that two-step equation. I'm going to take and subtract 2 from both sides. Positive 2 and -2 will cancel out. 0 minus 2 is a -2. And then dividing both sides by 2, I'll get x is equal to -1. Now, let me try the exact same equation. And some people might look at this and say, well, I only see a 3x over here. And so if I move it, it's going to be a 0. So I'm not going to move the 3x, I'm going to move the 5x. And so I'm going to subtract 5x first, so that when I do, I will have a 2 equals a -2x. And so what happens is it leaves me with this equation now that I need to divide by a -2 to get the answer of -1. Notice that it doesn't matter which way that you started the problem, whether you took and you moved the 3x over to the other side, or if you took the 5x and moved it over to the other side. Both of those produce the same correct answer of x equals -1.